Hey everyone, welcome back to our podcast. I'm Mel.
And I'm Claire.
And together we are the
Salty
Hoes.
Hoes.
And
Yay!
guess what, everyone? We are finally back in the same city. Not the same room, sadly, but the same city. So hopefully we are good from here on out. No more weird episodes with varying sound quality from various hotels and Airbnbs scattered through the whole literal world.
Literally the entire world. And Mel and I are corded up to the hilt because, apparently some of our sound issues were due to latency caused by wireless products. So we both have about 6 wires coming out of us right now. So
yes,
we're set.
Everything's wired. Nothing is wireless, unlike the last time.
Yep. We tried. It's a learning curve.
It is. And also, I totally dropped the ball because there was a joke I was going to make when we were spread across the globe recording and I forgot to make it. So can I do like a remedial catch-up joke?
Oh, hell yes. Make it. I hope it's dirty.
It's not dirty, actually, but it is colonial. I was going to say the sun never sets on the Salty Hoe Empire.
Oh, there you go. For a moment, it really didn't.
Right. But I like to believe that since we have international listeners all over the globe, that truly the sun never sets on the Salty Hoe Empire.
I love that. That's a beautiful concept. And, we're an international duo. So that's true in so many ways. I love it.
That's right.
What a beautiful concept.
We hope that the sun sets on every other empire. Thank you. No more of that. But for us,
oh yes,
our
please.
Salty Hoes, let's keep this party going internationally.
Yes, keep it just day all the time. Definitely. Agreed on the other ones. They need to go away. So.
Yeah, bye-bye. Yeah, so
yes.
We don't have a big agenda for you today. Claire had the brilliant idea of just doing a little catch-up episode since we figured we'd probably just be catching up a bunch anyway. We're so delighted to see each other.
We really are. And rather than sit and talk for an hour and a half before we actually record the episode, we're like, let's just record the catch up and you can get all the raw info in real time because, yeah, this is literally the first time we're talking to each other. We had some texting yesterday and very jubilant to be in the same landmass, but here we are. This is go time and we're so excited.
So excited.
But we were committed to bringing you something. So we brought you some things over the past few weeks. We've also been quiet on social media and we're going to change all of that. So
yeah,
here we are.
Don't worry. You'll be hearing plenty from us going forward. So I just got back yesterday from my trip, my month-long trip to Down Under, the Southern Hemisphere, a little Australia, Fiji, New Zealand action. And I returned yesterday. I actually did sleep last night, thanks to the magic of Advil PM. So I feel pretty good. Knock on wood. I feel like jet lag going east always sucks a lot worse than going west. So stay tuned. We'll see how it goes.
Definitely. Yeah, you look perky.
Oh, thank you.
You look good. and you sound good. And maybe you'll be ready for bed at 7:30 p.m. But I'm so glad you slept. That's a game changer.
It's definitely a game changer. I was trying so hard to stay up yesterday. I was aided by a couple things. Number one, a small water crisis that one of our dear friends is having that I had to run over to her house to check on yesterday. So that kept me from an afternoon nap, which was a really good thing, actually.
Oh, yeah, that adrenaline will kick in.
It does.
Water emergencies are not good.
Not good and should be addressed immediately.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, so that sort of pushed me through the afternoon slump. It's so tempting to just lay down for a minute and then 3 hours later, you're like, God damn it. Like, I've just ruined my sleep for tonight. And now, push that jet lag, kick that jet lag can down the road a couple more days. And then I was texting you, which was lovely. It was so funny though, friends. Claire sent me a little clip last night. And I had finally gotten into bed. I was like, I can fall asleep now, but I was watching it and I fell asleep, face down on the pillow watching this clip. And then I repeated that 2 more times. I kept waking up and realizing, shit, I didn't see any of the video. I just passed out. After the 3rd time, I just gave up and went to sleep.
That's amazing. Well, see, I feel like I helped lull you to sleep and the video was about 1 minute. So that is hilarious. Yeah. You were out.
I don't even think I made it 5 seconds. I really didn't. I just would press play and then just completely zonk out.
I love that level of just comatose, deep
Oh,
sleep?
complete exhaustion. And
Hmm.
I did not sleep on the flight at all from Auckland. Well, I think I dozed maybe for about half an hour.
Yeah.
But it was a little complicated by the fact that our flight turned out to be a little bit hectic. So it is
Oh my God.
yeah, it's a 12-hour flight. And in those 12 hours, the poor flight attendants had to deal with not one, not two, but three medical events on the flight.
Whoa. Oh my God. Three? Did they
Three.
make that announcement? Like, is there a doctor on board?
They didn't. I think
Hmm.
I don't know, somebody might have like volunteered near the first patient that had an
Yeah.
issue. I'm not really sure what the first two were because they were kind of far back in the plane, and so I didn't really hear the buzz or like see what was happening. The
Hmm.
third one was pretty close to me though, just a couple rows back.
Oh,
This guy
wow.
had passed out and they were unable to wake him up. Like I think he was traveling with someone and they were like trying
Yeah.
to rouse them and they couldn't. Like guy was just
Oh, that's so scary.
passed out. Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
so they had three flight attendants, another passenger who I assume was a doctor, working with this guy, and they did eventually
Hmm.
revive him. So he was fine. I guess all three of the people were fine, but I know
Wow.
I'm like, folks, what are we doing? And
No, you're like, are you drinking water? What is happening?
right, did you
Like,
take an extra
holy
sleeping pill that
shit.
maybe shouldn't have gone down that hatch? Like, I don't know, but
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
but where the one flight attendant was like kind of staging the equipment and stuff was like right above my seat, like right next to my seat. So like she was talking to me a little bit and she's like, I haven't gotten any rest on this flight, like no breaks, like none of us have. Like this is the third medical anyway. So
Oh my God, that has to be some kind of a
I
record in terms
know.
of like the amount of emergencies. Oh my God. That's wild. Have you experienced that before, or was that the first time?
Nothing too major. I've been on flights with medical events before, but nothing really like major. Nothing where they've had to divert a flight or anything like that.
Hmm.
I was worried about it with this one gentleman because even though there aren't too many places to divert between Auckland and San
Yeah.
Francisco, we were right at that spot where you actually could make the turn to Honolulu and get there
Yeah.
kind of quickly. So I was like I was on high alert. I was like, are we turning? Are we turning? I hope we're not
Oh
turning.
my God. You're like, please no, proceed to San Francisco.
Yeah,
I want to get home. And I
exactly.
want this man to be okay enough
Of
that we don't
course.
have
Right. I
to.
mean, of course, if you have
Yeah.
to, you have to. I get that. But yeah. But
Yes.
then after half an hour, I was like, okay, now it's about the same to go to San Francisco as Honolulu. So they're not going to divert
Yeah.
us. We're safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like past the point of no
Right.
return, which
And
is
there's
good.
nothing in between. So we're definitely making it to San
Holy
Francisco.
shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Little bit of excitement.
Crazy, right? Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Flights are wild.
Yeah, they really are, because I had a really weird thing happen on my second flight coming home this time. And I spoke to my doctor about it, and it's totally benign. It's all good. But it was kind of a freaky
Oh,
thing
no.
where I think for the first time ever, I was like, oh shit, like what would you do if, you know, it was just like I had a weird thing happen in my ears, which is totally normal flying, but it was a little more complicated by other little currently trendy illnesses, well, not illnesses, conditions that I have. And it like went into my ears, my teeth, and then it was like a snake. I just felt it go around my jaw. And of course, women, you're like, oh my God, I'm having a heart attack, because and it went down my throat, and my esophagus just, it felt like somebody wrung it out, and it went into a
Oh
spasm.
my
And I was
God.
like, oh, and it was like slow motion feeling this happen. And I was alone. And so I was like, okay, I don't think I can breathe. What should I do? And we're taken off. So it's not even like I could get up and walk down to the back, or.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I can sip water, I can breathe.
Oh
I was just kind of
no.
trying to show myself that I was okay. So I sipped water. I was like, okay, cool. I can breathe. This is fine. And I've had it happen in other muscles. So I was like, it took about 10 minutes and it was good, but it freaked me out because I started going down a rabbit hole and was like, Jesus, what would you do?
That is
Like,
absolutely terrifying.
you're like, hello, excuse me, can you stop taking off?
Uh,
So I like,
I mean, I think there's a couple minutes there where there is nothing you can do. Yeah,
Seriously,
I mean, even if you
like,
page a flight attendant, there's nothing they can do either. They're like in those jump
no.
seats strapped in. Like they
Hmm.
need like probably 2 minutes before they can get to you.
Yeah. It was crazy timing, but it was to do with pressure and your ear tubes
Mm-hmm.
and like I say, checked it out, totally fine. But it was kind of freaky in the moment, I'm not gonna lie, because yeah, you're just like, okay, options are limited here at 33,000 feet.
Oh, yeah, that is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, good
Oh my
times.
goodness.
So
Have you ever heard them call for a doctor on the flight, like page overhead?
yes, I've had that. I had that happen. It was on a transatlantic flight before, and I think somebody had passed out waiting on the restroom,
Mm,
and luckily about three people jumped up. So I was like, okay, we're covered on this flight. There's plenty of medical
yeah.
personnel. This is great. It always makes me laugh a little too, because we know a lot of people call doctor, but be funny to stand up and be like, yes, there's a doctor on board of philosophy, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's a nerd joke, but
Right,
yeah.
right. Like, do you need me to do a PubMed search? I could do that for you
Yeah.
right now. Like,
Would you like to hear some theories? Yeah. But I was on a plane once with like the friggin' exorcist who projectile vomited over like several rows.
no. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us the story. Take us through what happened here. How did they vomit over that many rows? Like what
Because they
happened?
had like zero self-awareness. So like we've all had those moments where we might feel queasy. I generally travel well, don't get travel sickness, but there's definitely been like just a couple of times where I'm like, oh, maybe I should get the little bag, or if we're not taking off or having turbulence or landing, I could get up and walk to the restroom. Like there's an area for that. And it was on a transatlantic flight from the US to Europe. And so it's that part, where they shut it down for the fake night,
Yes.
essentially. And we were coming into morning. So we were probably about 2.5 hours from landing. And I was sitting, there was a 2, a 4, and a 2 row,
Mm-hmm.
or 2, 3, and 2. But I was on the aisle seat at the 2, and my 3 kids were in the center, and she was directly behind
Oh
me.
no.
And thanks to her spray, she kind of went over
Oh
me,
my God.
turned her head, and got like 3 or 4 full rows in the center of the airplane. Like when I say it was like The Exorcist, it was like The
Oh
Exorcist.
my God. That is
And
a
yeah,
nightmare. That is horrible.
you can imagine the odor.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Did anyone else throw up? Because I know some people get sympathetic, like nausea and vomiting.
There was some dry heaving
Oh,
happening. And it was so bad because most of the people were asleep or dozing, my kids included. And you could just see them like wakening up and be, like if you hear a noise in your sleep and you wake up and you're like, wait, what was that? It was kind of like that. And some of them like reached up and I'm like, don't touch your head.
oh no. Oh, that's the worst way to
So
wake up I can imagine. Well, not the worst,
yeah,
but one of the worst. Like it's
it's
up there.
pretty,
It's
pretty
pretty
bad.
bad.
Yep, dripping in a stranger's vomit. So the flight attendants rushed up. They gave me gloves. We literally cleaned the aircraft. I was wiping it off the
Oh
ceiling,
my God.
like the vents. I mean, it was a full cleanup operation. And Girlie was kind of gormless. She just stood there and I looked around and I saw her like heaving again and she had her hand to her mouth and I was like, girl, go to the bathroom. And she was like, well, sorry. And I
Are
was
you
like,
fucking kidding me? Like, I am sorry. If you
okay.
just puked over 10 plus people, you do not get to give anyone attitude. Like, fucking
Yeah,
cut that out right
not at
now.
all. Yeah, it was wild. It was quite a cleanup, but the flight attendants were amazing and they actually gave me a big bottle of champagne. So that was
Oh,
nice.
that's very
They were
sweet.
like, thanks so much for helping us clean. And I was like, oh, yeah, don't want to sit in dripping vomit either. So
Oh,
I
God.
think that was my most insane ever in flight, like happening.
That is very insane. I've not had anything quite so crazy happen to me, you know? I've had the
This is
random,
good.
passenger near you gets drunk and loud and kind of
Oh,
unruly. Like that kind of thing has happened before.
oh my God.
I was once on a transatlantic flight to Europe in I think it was a 242, and I was
Mm-hmm.
on the aisle in the 4. I was traveling alone,
Yeah.
and right in front of me were 3 Russian men. And
Uh-huh.
I am fairly sure one of them slipped the flight attendant a little cashy cash because she kept bringing them those little bottles of vodka, like the little
Oh,
airplane
yes.
ones. And so they're
Mm-hmm.
getting like progressively more toasty, and they're actually like shooting these vodka bottles, these tiny vodka bottles, and then throwing the empties into the aisle, like just throwing them on the
Oh
floor.
my God.
Yeah. Like they're very loud and very happy, like speaking in Russian, throwing the vodka bottle. It's like 3 walking stereotypes, really. And like the flight attendant kept coming back, like with a smile on her face, picking them up, giving these men more vodka. So like,
Oh my
I'm
God.
pretty sure they like just gave her a little money and was like, just keep it coming. And she was like,
Yeah, because
okay.
yeah, otherwise she'd have been like, cut that shit out. Oh my God, that's
It was
hilarious.
really
As, lo-
funny.
as long as they're happy drunks, although don't love the throwing the bottle thing into the
I
aisle.
mean, I didn't either, but at least it was kind of entertaining. Like, at least I was laughing.
Yes.
Like, they weren't throwing it at anyone. But
Yes. It wasn't like an angry throw, so
yeah, I
wow.
mean, like, don't do that, folks, obviously.
Oh,
But it was pretty funny.
oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna take it a little bit south here.
Do
But
it. I love it.
it actually did remind me of uh an incident when I was flying from Amsterdam to Krakow this summer, and there were some very farty men on the
Oh,
flight.
no.
Have
Ew.
you had that happen where
Yes.
you're, yeah, yeah.
Not often,
And
but boy, it's not great when it does happen.
yeah, people don't do that on a flight. Like, if you know it's stinky, just go to the bathroom. And
Yeah.
like,
And
you have to smell it
also,
too.
if you're kind of like prone to that, like maybe cool it with the beer or sparkling wine. Like you don't want to be drinking carbonation in that situation. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
just, it's not super long flight.
Yeah.
Just,
Maybe,
take a
yeah,
pause.
go for the spirits if you really want to drink something or the non-sparkling
Yeah.
wine. You could do that, but like don't
Yeah.
pound beers when you're just like farting nonstop. I've had that happen too. You're like, come
Oh,
on.
you literally want to stand up and just say, cut it out. Like, whoever is doing that,
Yes.
stop. Like, your clap, like,
Yeah,
stop.
like little public service announcement, friends. Like whoever is
Yeah.
farting nonstop in this cabin, like
Yeah.
please go to the bathroom. Take care of
Yeah.
some
Enclosed
business. Yeah.
space. 100%. Like, oof. We don't want to be like that Delta flight that, where was it, flying to Spain? And they had to turn around because one of the passengers had explosive
Oh,
diarrhea and
that's
it was like
right.
running down the
Oh
aisles.
God, that's so horrible.
Oh my God. That poor person, though,
Oh
because
yeah.
it, I mean, apparently all the things I read, they were very kind to them and nobody complained or
Yeah.
anything like that. But yeah, sorry, I got us to quite a lavatorial
No,
place,
that's
but
completely
yeah,
fine. I mean, I think this is kind of on brand for us. Right? Like we'll just take it wherever. Yeah, I feel sorry
we
for
will take
that
it there.
person. I mean, assuming, and I'm giving them grace and like, sort of best case scenario,
Hmm.
assuming they were not having diarrhea before they got on the plane and it was a sudden,
Yeah,
case, which can happen. Yes,
onset.
sudden onset.
Yes, nerves. People are nervous flyers, all of that stuff.
Well, or
Yeah.
it could be our explosive diarrhea, like bacteria, right?
Oh,
Yeah, they might have been
yes.
food poisoned.
That's very true. And if we want to get super graphic, I did one time fly. This was very adventurous. Fly home with a
Oh
parasite.
no.
Um, yes, yeah, but we probably shouldn't go into detail
I
on
mean, we
that.
can go into as much detail as you want. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that actually, but there was no harm to the other passengers. I understood the situation. And I was coming back from Port-au-Prince, and
Oh boy.
about a day or two into it, I was like, okay, I think I see what happened here. And so I just kind of stopped eating
Hmm.
because I mean, there was no way for me at that moment to prevent it from happening. So I was basically just starving the parasite, and it mostly worked, shall we say.
Did you,
But yeah.
sorry, did you end up finding out what kind of parasite it was?
I got home and they just branded it a common term, which is traveler's
Oh
diarrhea.
yeah.
And yeah, so I didn't need to take anything, but we actually think it was like so I guess it's misleading to say it was a parasite. We believed it was parasite at the time, but it was from some ice
Oh.
that had been consumed. Is that I did not consent to. I will say that because I know not to have the ice. But yes, it was already in a beverage, so that was pretty wild.
Yeah, that is pretty wild. I mean, it's one of those scary things when you travel. You can take all the precautions, right? Don't drink the water, or in certain places, don't eat the ice, don't eat like unwashed produce or even washed produce in some places. Stay away from lettuce.
Yeah.
Apparently, also don't eat lettuce in the United States because
Nope.
we got the explosive diarrheas here. But still, sometimes, you're given something, you don't know that like it's contaminated, and there you go. So we've all had
Yep.
that happen before.
Yes.
I always bring, like, I'm not as crazy as like some people with the mobile pharmacy. I definitely had one person on my dive trip. She's a nurse, but she had literally everything you could ask for.
Wow.
Like at one point, someone was like, "Does anyone have Advil?" She's like, "Yeah. Do you want American or Mexican Advil?"
Wow, she had like a range.
Yeah. It was amazing.
That is amazing.
Amazing. But one thing I do always pack is Imodium. And
Yes.
usually I never use it. It sits in my cupboard. It's usually expired by the time I like pull it out again, like, and I have to throw it away and buy new. But I always pack Imodium. And by the way, that stuff does work pretty well for most diarrhea. Like it's just treating the symptoms. If you have a parasite, it's not going to cure your infection, but it does like stop you up, which is really what you want if you're abroad for a couple days.
Wow. Yes, that's like Salty Hose, now sponsored by
Imodium.
For all your travel needs.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I had quite a wee pharmacy with me that time, but sadly, Imodium was not part of it. But that, yeah.
I mean,
that's a good one.
Yeah, there's some things that even Imodium can't fix. Like it's some places you go, you can get like a prophylactic prescription of antibiotics, right? So if you get diarrhea, like you hit the Imodium, but also the antibiotics. So like when I've been to Africa, they've given that to me before I traveled, and other places as well. But yeah, I do recommend it, friends. I read this really interesting article several years ago, actually, about how there's a lot of misconceptions about diarrhea. And a lot of people think that, first of all, the medications don't work, or that like you are supposed to let your body flush it out and you're not supposed to take the medicines. This is actually,
I've heard that.
This is a myth, friends. This is a misconception. Pack the Imodium. And if you have diarrhea, take the Imodium. Okay. It's not going to complicate anything. It works really well for the most part. So just, don't give in to whatever this pro-diarrhea myth is. It's what big diarrhea wants you to believe.
Oh my God, I love it. And you heard it from our scientist, Mel. This is not manosphere level conjecture. This is like, this is a woman who quite literally knows her shit.
I do know my shit. Now, disclaimer, I am not a doctor, or at least I am not that type of doctor. I am not a physician. Okay. But yeah, Imodium. It's good, friends. You can take it. Actually, that reminds me, I was flying once with a grad school friend, and she had, how you select your title, and instead of Ms., she had selected doctor. And I was like, oh my God, why are you doing that? Because she graduated from the same PhD program I did. And she's like, well, I earned this degree, right? Like I should use it. And I'm like, well, I get that, but the airline's going to see that on your ticket and maybe think you can help with something. So like, I would never put that on my airline reservation.
You are targeting yourself. Like, don't do it. It's like, just take like some quiet comfort in knowing you worked hard for that. You don't need to use it on a flight.
Yes. I mean, absolutely demand that in a professional setting. I'm all for that if you want to, but like me, like on an airplane ticket, I would not go there myself.
Oof, no, you don't want to be volunteering yourself for the bodily fluid situation on flights.
Yeah,
definitely
absolutely not.
Wow. Not to trail us back into the poop thing again, but And again, I am not a medical professional. I have no scientific knowledge. We know I'm more the woo woo person. I had another episode of Parasites, and I'm all for medication, as my last solo episode will confirm. But in this particular instance, I didn't want the medication they were giving me, and I took grapefruit seed extract. And that did actually work wonders.
Interesting.
So,
all right. Well, there you go.
Not FDA approved, but just, should one find themselves in a remote area with no other options, give it a whirl.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
You do indeed. So with our little poop pivot there, where did you go? Like, what did you do? Who were you with?
I can't believe you want to stop talking about poop. I feel like we've been talking about bodily fluids for like the last 20 minutes. But okay, yes, let's changing the subject. So
little change of
pace. So this trip was great. It was originally a dive trip. So once again, through my lovely friends at Neptune Divers. The owner, Lori, puts together these great trips. And in this case, it was a resort in Fiji, and it was a buyout, meaning that she had reserved the whole resort. So we had, I think, more than 60 people through this dive shop.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was so cool. Really fun. So a lot of people that I know from previous trips and from, going to the dive shop, some people I didn't know, some new people I met who were just fantastic. So it was really great, a really big party. So that was kind of in the middle. It was 10 days in Fiji. And then 16 of us added on an optional before Fiji trip to Australia. And that was, again, a little diving expedition. So 3-night live aboard on the Great Barrier Reef with the intention of going to find dwarf minke whales that come through there, that live there. Yeah, really cool.
And were you successful? Did you find them?
We were, but girl, I'm going to take it right back to the bodily fluids. But actually, let me just finish the trip outline and then we'll go there.
Yes.
Okay, so before that, some of us met in Sydney. So I was in Sydney, I think, for 5 nights, and then flew up to Cairns and were there for just 1 night, then got on the live aboard for 3 nights, 2 more nights in Cairns. And I think I know I told that story on the mansplaining episode of our delightful tour guide, Cousin Michael.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What a horrifically long expedition. Wow.
Yeah, you caught me the day after that. Then we flew to Fiji. From Fiji, almost everyone flew home. I actually flew solo after that to New Zealand, and I was there for 4 nights. And that was just because, as you know, I like to play the points and miles game, and I just found this killer points redemption home from Auckland. And New Zealand's not very far from Fiji. It was just like a 3 or 4 hour flight. I can't quite remember. And you've got to like connect somewhere anyway. And it was just much more cheap to come back on that award flight from Auckland. So I flew there for 4 nights and I was just there solo.
Oh, that's amazing. So that wasn't your diving part. That was just exploring Auckland and just all that fun stuff.
Yeah, just me all by my lonesome for 4 days. So that was pretty great. Okay, but back to the whales. So the dwarf minke whales, which by the way are like the cutest little whales I think I've ever seen in my life. They're maybe like 30 to 40 feet long. So still large, but for a baleen whale, that's really small. I think it's the second smallest baleen whale. So baleen meaning the ones that like kind of filter feed, like with the baleen, as opposed to the whales that have teeth, like a dolphin or an orca or a sperm whale. They're adorable. Like they're so cute. I can't even tell you. We were successful at seeing them. So we did see several like from the surface. And then the idea with the whale boat is that you're not allowed to scuba dive with them. That's prohibited unless they approach you. But generally they don't, because they seem to kind of be skittish about scuba. They don't like the bubbles or something. So sometimes people have seen them underwater diving, but usually not. If you see whales, it's like fairly tightly controlled by the Australian government, which is good because Just a heads up, friends, if you're going to do any tourism related to animals, please check it out very carefully because most of it is highly unethical. All right. So you need to make sure that you're doing something that is not harming the animals that you're there to see. Okay. So if you are in Thailand, I beg of you, please do not ride elephants or like do most of those elephant excursions. Do not take your picture with tigers. Like this is really, really unethical and it's really bad for these animals. So don't do it. All right. But in Australia with the whale watching, that's really tightly controlled. So you cannot chase a whale. You can't pursue a whale with a boat or in the water. But these whales are quite friendly and they do actually approach people. They seem to be curious. So what they do is if a whale comes near the boat, they cut the engines and then they throw out a rope off the back of the boat, a tagline, and you can get on there with snorkel equipment and hold the rope. And if the whales want to come sort of swim by you, then they can do that. So that's
so
cool. It's really, really cool. Really fun. Except for we had some pretty gnarly wind and weather conditions on this liveaboard. So the wind, I think, was running about 30 knots the whole time we were on the boat. It's a large boat, like just over 100 feet, I think. It's a catamaran. But a lot of people got seasick on the boat. So there was some bodily fluids, some vomiting was happening, including one of my favorite people who got sick on the tagline. So she was throwing up in the water.
Oh no.
She's such a badass though. She's just like, whatever. Like she's just like,
I'm just gonna let it go.
She's like, I'm here to see whales. We're gonna see whales. So, just amazing.
That's tenacious. Yeah.
She's definitely tenacious. Yes, that is a good word for her. So there was some vomiting. I did not stay out on that tagline very long enough to see whales a couple times. I think the same pair of whales pretty close. And then I was like, you know what? I think I'm all done like trying to snorkel in these like 3 to 4 foot seas. I think I'm getting back on the boat.
Whoa. Holy shit. Well, that's great. You got to see them and good that you got back out of the water. That would be a lot of movement.
It's a lot of movement. I take seasickness medication. So if anyone is, someone that gets motion sick, I highly recommend a drug called meclizine. It's sold under that name. It's also sold under the name Bonine and Dramamine non-drowsy. But you have to get the non-drowsy because regular Dramamine does not work, at least not for me. And it makes me sleepy. This does not.
Which is not
good.
Yeah, really not. When you're trying to dive in the sea, I would imagine.
Or really for anything. Like, I don't see why Dramamine's so popular. Like, for me, it just doesn't even work. I still get nauseous. But meclizine or Bonine works beautifully. Since I started taking it, I've not been seasick once, knock on wood.
That's good news. I was going to ask you, like, at this point, do you have like a routine that just works? You've got it down. And when you say like live aboard, I assume that just means you are on that boat for days.
Yeah. So you sleep on board. Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah. Super nice.
That would be lovely.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Yeah, it is. I would love to go back, hopefully when the weather is just a little bit better.
Yeah. I guess you can't really plan on that stuff. You can just kind of hope.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're in summer here, so it's winter in Australia, I assume.
Yes.
What was the weather like there?
So in Sydney, it was really nice. It was like kind of a crisp fall day would be here. So maybe about mid 60s. There was a tiny bit of rain, I think the first day I was there, but then it was just, it ranged from partially cloudy to sunny. With those nice cool temperatures. So I was wearing jeans and a shirt, and then at night I had a puffer that I brought. New Zealand was even 10 degrees colder than that. So in the mid to high 50s when I was there.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And then you got to come back to 101 degrees. That must be lovely.
It is a shock, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's about, I think we're about 10 degrees higher on average here consistently in the Salt Lake Valley. Right now, we got up to, I think I got into my car after work one day and it said 107.
Yeah.
Which is not Salt Lake Valley typical temperatures.
No, it is running hotter. It should be in the, I would say, low 90s about this time of year. And, because I have Salt Lake set as my home on my Apple Weather app, I was getting those high heat alerts. And I
Yeah.
saw that we broke a record. 109 degrees is what I saw,
Oh,
which is just
wow.
insane. I mean, I feel like that's a temperature we used to only see in like Vegas or Phoenix or
Hmm.
somewhere like that. But to hit it
Yeah,
in Salt Lake is pretty wild.
it is pretty wild. And there's a weird thing I've noticed maybe over the last year or two. I have no concept of time, but like it's gotten super windy in the Salt Lake Valley. I feel like we never used to get a lot of wind, and that's not a good combo with fires
Yeah,
at
it's
all.
really not. I haven't looked into historical wind data. But yeah, I just replaced my roof a few months ago because we had a
Hmm.
high wind incident last October. It was before I'd moved into this house, but it ripped a whole bunch of shingles off my house. And
Oh my
yeah, I'm
goodness.
super glad I replaced that roof. My insurance paid for most of it, which is really nice. But
That's
yeah,
the good
yeah,
news.
but I wasn't the
Wow.
only house. There's a bunch of houses up where I live that have significant wind damage.
That's wild. And I think I was in Poland or Ireland, and you had sent a text to a group thread that we're on that we were having hail, like massive
I
hail.
was having massive hail at my house.
Like, what is happening? We go from massive hail to like 109 in like, what, 2 weeks or something? Like, that's
I mean, it was
wild.
crazy. It was a little like cold even. I think when I left, it's kind of hard to remember because it was a month ago. But yeah, the hail I was having at my house was a threat to life and property. Like it really was. It was that severe.
Holy shit. And I think it snowed at one of the resorts because my mom told me, and I was like, don't be ridiculous. Like, I feel like my mom can be prone to hyperbole. And I was like, whatever. Of course it didn't snow. We're in like a heat wave. And then I was like, oh, turns out it actually did. So yeah, wee bit wacky.
It's definitely a wee bit wacky. I think climate patterns everywhere are pretty crazy and disrupted. Climate change is really happening, friends. And one of the things that goes with that is just a loss of predictability, right? Unseasonable
Hmm.
weather, whether it's hot or cold everywhere, although obviously an upward trend in terms of temperature overall.
Yeah, it's a wild. Like, I have lived in Utah for almost 19 years now, and I don't ever remember a summer where there was at least like a wee bit of snow on the mountains, right? Like that you could visibly see from the valley. And if you went and hike or something, you might come across a patch of snow. And I haven't been hiking because it's been too bloody hot. But
Mm-hmm.
like when I'm driving, I don't see any snow, like any. That the mountains are naked. Like,
Sad.
and I don't remember ever seeing it like that. I feel like there's always like just a tiny skim sort of all year round, and it looks like none. You're just
Yeah,
like, where did it all go?
it's
Like,
gone. It melted. I haven't been up
yeah.
to Snowbird yet this summer. Usually I go up to Snowbird, but of course I haven't
Hmm.
really been here for a lot of the summer.
This is true. You'll have to return and
I
report
will, because
for
usually there's
us.
still at least a few patches up there, like not at the base,
Yeah,
but my son and I have this little tradition we do where we take the tram up to the top of Snowbird and then hike down,
nice.
which is really
Uh-huh.
nice. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
lovely. That's so
Hopefully
cute.
we'll get to do that.
Well, yes, and find a wee patch of snow or two.
Yeah.
When I was in Europe, there was a heat wave there,
Oh,
and
that's
I mean,
right.
yeah, it was wild. Like, I got a tan line on my feet
Oh,
from Ireland,
that's
and I
amazing.
was like, what is happening? And I got a little bit of sunburn on my shoulders. My wee freckles came out on my shoulders, and I just was not prepared because I was not expecting that. I mean, I definitely got some good Irish weather too, in the form of, 1 minute it's raining, 1 minute it's gale force winds, the next it's sunny. But like, there were a few consistent days of around 80, which
Wow.
is not, it's not really normal.
Yeah, and for Europe, it's a big issue, right? Since so few places have any air conditioning at all. I mean, talk about life
Hmm.
threatening. It actually is when the temperatures get so high there.
Yeah, especially for older people. And my parents are deeply stubborn. And like, my poor dad was like throwing up. And we're like,
Oh
will you
no.
open a damn window? And my
Oh,
mom's like, I read on the internet that you should not open the windows. And we're like, if you have AC, but you don't. So like, will you please open it at night and let the air in? And like, yeah,
Wow.
because I mean, it's bad for our seniors. Like they're just not used to it. And also, here in Utah, we have the dry heat, which is a little bit easier to tolerate, but it's like so humid. It's not very comfy. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's downright dangerous.
it's not good. So wow. Well, that's nice. You got a little bit of cool. So tell us more about like, I kind of feel like we all have a way we travel. And like, I actually had coffee this morning with a dear, wonderful friend who came and met me in Poland when I was there, along with my daughter. And we just had a fantastic time. Like, we didn't really plan stuff. We just kind of did stuff. And she even snuck in with my daughter into an academic conference, and she said it was funny because her daughter-in-law was asking her what the best part was, and she had gone on this trip with her husband, but she had left him for a few days to come see me, and she was like, I'll tell you when my husband's out of the room. She's like, one of the best parts was when I went to Poland to see Claire, and her daughter-in-law was like, oh my God, that's so cool. What did you do? And she was like, well, we snuck into this like academic conference. And she was like, it was amazing. And her daughter-in-law was like, what kind of fun do you have?
Yeah.
Like, that sounds awful. And she was like, no, it was really cool. But we just had a great time, and we couldn't quite articulate why. And today was like our little debrief over it, looking at pictures and that kind of stuff. And we just came to the conclusion it's because we travel the same way. And you can have people that you love dearly, but like you could not go on vacation with them because it would end the relationship.
100%. Yes. Some people are just at home friends, and that's fine. Right.
Yes.
And some people are travel friends.
Yes. And you just choose them wisely because, for some people on vacation, they want to get up at 6 a.m. and have an itinerary and go, go, go. And other people have a more leisurely approach and, everything in between. And I think it's like, finding what your little cadence is and then matching it with others. So like, if you could define your travel style, like what would it be?
Great question. So I would say it depends a little bit on the type of vacation, first of all. So I kind of have, diving vacations or other like nature vacations. And those tend to have their own rhythm. So for diving, usually you get up pretty early, earlier than I would on my own if I were just on vacation. But quite often you've got to be up at 6, 6:30, 7. And the reason is because a lot of dive destinations, the wind will kick up in the afternoon. So you want to do your diving early in the day while it's still calmer. So that's its own rhythm. And for like a hiking vacation or something like that, often it's similar. Like you'll want to get up earlier before it gets ungodly hot, right? And get something done. Whereas like a more like culture-based or city vacation or something would be a little different for me. I would tend to want to sleep in a little bit later, not like late, but like say 7:38, right? Like have a nice little breakfast. And then if it's just me doing all the planning and there's not like diving or hiking or whatever, I tend to like to do kind of one big thing a day. So like one anchor event, right? There's one site or like experience or whatever that I want to have. And then maybe I would book or maybe have in mind a certain place to eat, but then leave the rest of the day open to maybe seeing how you feel, wandering around, like just stumbling into an experience, like coming across something you didn't see on a website, right? And some days you're just really tired, right? So if I travel with my son, like we had one day in Venice where we had an anchor event, right? So we went and did a tour. Did we do a tour? I think it was just visiting St. Mark's and like the square and all the famous stuff. And then we had something planned for evening to eat. And in between, I was like, what do you want to do? And he's like, I'm tired, right? And it was also cold. Like it was so cold and we were so tired and it was the end of the trip and we just went back to the hotel and like bed rotted for 3 hours. And it was actually perfect. And it was what we both needed.
Yeah, you're like rejuvenated and then you can go out and enjoy the evening and
Yeah.
have a good time.
Totally. So I like
Yes.
that balance. Like I also am not one of the fully serendipitous people who like might even show up with no hotel reservations and it's just like I'm going
Oh
to see
God.
how I feel. I don't like that. I like to be a planner in terms of I know where I'm going to stay. All my hotels are already
Yes.
booked and I know a few things that I'm going to do, but not everything because I like to leave room for, you know, serendipity. How about
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, how about you? Tell me about your travel style.
Yeah, I could very similar actually. I could not go without having like a place to
I
stay.
hate
Yeah.
that.
I know some people are even on the airplane and I'm just like, no, I don't, and also like even in terms of expense, like you kind of want to, straddle that. I don't know if that's the proper word to use, but then you're paying for things all at once, like plan it out, like, yeah, I don't like that. And that said, I don't like too rigid an itinerary either, particularly. And I think there's a lot of like factors, right? Because like if it's a place you've been before or a place you know you'll go again, there's not that same sense of urgency,
Yeah.
I think. And yeah, I like that idea of an anchor event. So you'll sort of plan a thing at whatever point in the day. And then because I do like to like wander a lot, I think just for that serendipity part, like you might come across something or again, depending on where you are, because we were actually talking about this today. One of my favorite parts about Europe is like, and I think you could say most of Europe is there's a lot of pedestrianized parts in most places where, there's a very particular, even in winter, but particularly in summer, like a outdoor cafe kind of a vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it can be lovely to just sit and people watch and,
Yes.
enjoy that part of things. It's all part of the experience, maybe trying to speak a different language, use a couple of words, that kind of thing. But yeah, I feel very similar in that regard where it's not crazy, but you're also going to try and make the best of your time there.
Yeah. So I read a long time ago, probably 25 years ago, a piece of travel advice that I really like and that I live by. And that is wherever you are, assume you can come back. Right? Like now
Oh, loves
you may
that.
never come back, but it does prevent
Mm-hmm.
you from that FOMO where you're rushing around from 6 a.m. to like 10 p.m. and maybe not necessarily enjoying everything as much as you might. So I
Yeah.
just like to assume I could come back. Maybe I never will, but like if I really want to, I can. So I think that kind of
Yeah.
helps take some of that pressure of like I have to see and do every single thing here. Because at least for me, when I'm rushing around to do a lot of things, I stop enjoying it at some point, and I'm like, well, this is dumb.
Yeah. Because you need to make sure that you have frequent refreshment because you'll run out of steam. And I feel like I need to make a public apology to my children here because I can remember a vacation when they were a lot younger and we were in Paris and determined to show them like all these things. And, we were in the Champs-Élysées and the Arc de Triomphe and we made them walk up the stairs, which there's a lot of stairs in there
A lot.
to the top. And by the top, they were like, oh, and we were like, you ungrateful wretches. Like, you just walked up the Arc de Triomphe. What are you complaining about? And like, and they're like, we've walked 14,000 or steps, felt like miles. And then it was like, you know what? We've already hit up 2 museums and walked a ton. Let's just maybe go sit for a while and get food and some drinks. And everybody was a lot better. And, they will still to this day bring that up. And, I was like, I'm sorry. When you know better, you do better. And yeah, I was in Paris about 2 years ago with my oldest. It was just her and I. And so I felt like I, did some penance, and all we did was we picked a different area to go to, like the opera district or and we just went to cafes and wandered.
I love that.
And I was like, there you go. That's I'm sorry for the time I made you walk and see all the things in one day. So yeah.
I love that. Yeah, that's so true. And I feel like just being in a place like a big chunk of it is, I think, like finding that cafe, right? Sitting down for a glass of wine or a drink or a snack or something. And like you said, people watching. It's just so fun,
Mm-hmm.
right? It gives you the vibe of the place a lot more than trying to like pick out a really rigid itinerary. And I would also say, like, for a lot of the travel I've had, I feel like some of the best experiences and the ones you talk about for years afterwards are just like the unexpected things that you didn't plan to do anyway.
Yeah, because like you can't find, you can research a place and kind of know the spots to go to, but I think one of the gifts are finding the local spots. And if you don't happen to know a local, then all you can really do is kind of wander until you find those places. It could be like a wee flea market or some kind of exhibit, or like maybe a street concert, or something like that. So
Yeah, totally.
yeah, leaving space for all that. Well, that's like how we travel. I guess more to the practical part. Are you a good packer?
I like to think I'm an okay packer. I am
Mm-hmm.
not one of those people that has like a big system, right? With like lists and like packing ahead of time and all that stuff. I usually pack the night before or the day of, depending on when my flight is. This trip,
Mm-hmm.
I was actually proud of myself because I made a packing list a whole week before. And I started
Wow.
packing not the day before, but the day before the day before I actually left. Yeah. So for
Oh.
me, that was like plenty in advance. But I also feel like I've traveled enough that I'm a decent packer and that I pretty much know what I'm gonna need. So it's not that hard for
Mm-hmm.
me to like assemble what I need and put it in a suitcase. Now, occasionally, that can lead you into trouble, like the trip. And luckily, it was just a long weekend trip where I neglected to pack any panties. So that was
Oh,
fun. Yeah.
oh. You just go commando.
I
Yeah.
mean, luckily, this was domestic. So you're like, well, my first stop is going to be a mall.
That can happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
And and you do just have to remind yourself. I mean, I know this wouldn't be the case maybe in some of your more remote diving trips, but you can be like, there are stores available where I'm going, so it will be okay. Like, I don't
Hmm.
need to get too stressed about this.
Yeah, most of the places you go, you can find what you need. Like if you left out toothpaste, well, you're going to probably be able to buy toothpaste. Like it's going to be
Yes.
okay.
You'll be okay. How does it work? Like, how much diving stuff do you have to bring with you?
Well, it depends. I mean, some people rent gear and so they don't bring any and they just rent it at the resort. And I did that for quite a
Hmm.
long time until I got burned basically. So I had a bad experience in Fiji, ironically, not this time, but a few years ago,
Hmm.
when despite the fact that I had emailed the resort and reserved dive gear and confirmed with them 2 times when we came to the resort, they're like, we don't have any gear for you. And
Oh my
right, we
God.
ended up having to like cobble shit together and it was stressful and like it worked out and we were able to dive. But
Oh.
it was, I was like, yeah, this isn't, I'm not doing that anymore. So now I
Yeah.
do have all my own dive gear and that is basically one carry-on. So it's, scuba diving people are always stressed about weight limitations, right? 50 pounds goes real quick when you're packing dive
Yeah.
gear. um, I just have a regular checked roller bag that I put my dive gear in. A lot of
Hmm.
people have dedicated bags. I just put it in like a regular checked bag, and I can also stuff a lot more things too. If it's just a dive trip and nothing else, I can actually layer and put most, if not all, of my clothes in there as well. It's tight, but it works. This trip. I took the most that I've ever taken on a trip. I've done a couple around the world trips, and I used to be able to do that just with a carry-on, but with dive
Yeah.
gear, you can't do that. So I had that big bag, but then because I was going to places that had winter, I also had to pack jeans, long sleeve shirts, a
Yes.
puffer, a rain jacket, right? So I had another bag that can be a rollerboard, but I checked it as well since I was already checking the other one.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have to, I imagine, yeah, get into a wee flow with that. And it is tricky when you're packing for like different climates and you kind of have to bring all the things. And Shoes are one of the hardest things to pack. And I'm not like a big shoe person. Like I'm a sneakers kind of a person. But like if you want to bring your running shoes and then, yeah, running shoes feel enormous to me. I don't know.
They
They take
are.
up like half the suitcase.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're really big. I mean, and imagine like
Mm-hmm.
some of our friends that are male and really large. Like that actually
Mm-hmm.
literally is half of their suitcase if they take two pairs of shoes.
Yes.
But yeah, it
Yeah.
can be hard. I have a system for that too. So I have my on shoes that I wear on the plane. You
Uh-huh.
can run in them. I wouldn't run for like long distances, but absolutely
Yeah.
you can run for short distances, and they're super comfy. You can walk all day, every day, and be totally fine. I always take a pair of flip flops, even if I'm going to like Europe, right? Because sometimes if you're just like walking down to the corner or something like that, or around the
Yeah.
hotel, like you don't want to put shoes on necessarily. And then usually where I get tripped up is like I usually want to pack one shoes I can wear to dinner. And I just
Yeah.
always have trouble like figuring out what to do. Ideally, you would have shoes that look nice that you could actually walk in, like not super far, but at least like a mile. And that's
Yeah.
hard, right? Like you're not going to pack heels really in that case, but it's hard to find like comfy flats that look good and pass that test, you know?
Yeah, and that will fit into your case and match with everything.
Exactly.
That is a tricky part. I have found that packing cubes really changed my life.
Nice.
Like those are so handy, I think, for like I have to pack in categories, and then even when you get to somewhere, like just taking those out and putting them in a drawer can save you the whole like unpacking, repacking, especially if you're like moving around a lot.
Yeah.
So I was amazed at how packing cubes actually changed my life. So yay, packing cubes.
Nice. You know, that's funny. I have some and I don't actually use them all that often. Sometimes I
That's
do though.
yeah,
I like the ones that are
yeah.
compressible, right? That you like put everything in and then you
Hmm.
can zip them pretty small. So that's helpful.
Yes. That yeah, the weight restriction is so difficult. I seem to mess that up every single time without fail, even though I try not to. But yeah, I when I was coming back this time, I was helping my daughter get a head start because she's at grad school in Ireland, is coming back shortly, and she was like, "Could you maybe take some stuff?" And I only had one case, so I was like, "Absolutely." And I bought her a smaller case and was just like, pack all your books, like the heavy things in
Oh
there.
boy.
And, but I intentionally bought a smaller case so I wouldn't go over. So we did a good job on that. And then she was like, could you take another one? And I was like, okay, pack my carry-on then with other bulky items. And oh my God, it was so, so heavy. But shout out to the nice Delta agent in Dublin airport. Because I was like, I get 2 free bags, but I was like, what about a third? And he goes, just put it on. I don't want you to have to carry it with your transfer. And I was like, I love
Oh, that's
you.
so
So
nice.
that worked out
I,
well because sometimes they're assholes, but this one was
It's
nice.
super luck of the draw. Yeah. Like sometimes
Mm-hmm.
those check-in people will just do you a solid, and other times they're just gonna like make your life a little bit miserable.
Oh, yes. I had one before. Like I checked 2 bags and I stupidly put the light one on first and it was like 28 pounds or something. And then I put the larger one on. It was like 51 pounds and he charged me €85. I was like,
Are you
dude, it's
serious?
literally like, I think it was like 2 pounds, 3
Oh
pounds. And
my
I was
God.
like, you cannot be serious.
And
And
like
he
he wouldn't
was.
let you take the other bag back and like put another thing in it?
It was
Oh
gone.
my
And he was
God.
like, it was gone. And I was like, but it was so under. And like, I was barely over. So yeah, I always get nervous and it's total luck of the draw. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's true. Always put the big bag on first and make sure that's gonna
Yes.
go.
Yeah. Or else you could find yourself in a wee spot of trouble. So yeah.
But
Oh,
this
well.
trip on Fiji Airlines, they also weighed our carry-ons. Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I think it was an 8 kilogram limit. No, it was lower than
Mm-hmm.
that because I think it translated to just over 15 pounds.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's light.
yeah, and everything else has to be checked. I actually kind of like that though, because it does avoid the overhead space drama that we have, it seems, on all American flights where people are trying to drag their entire house onto the plane and then stuff it into a tiny overhead compartment, right? And it's like,
Yep.
yeah, the flight attendants always have to go back there and fucking adjudicate something like in the back of the plane when they run out of space, you know? So I
Yeah.
actually don't mind it. I don't hate that for
Yeah.
anyone. But my backpack was over. Luckily, I had a great gate agent because I was like, "Can I take some stuff out and put it in my checked?" And she was like, "You know what? I don't really care." And she just like let it
Oh,
go. I
that's
was like, "Thank
good.
you." Yeah,
You're like, that's so
I know.
nice. Yeah. Yeah. When there's not like a safety imperative, like you're not going on a super light aircraft where they have to distribute the weight or else you
Oh
will
yeah.
like plummet.
I mean, that's a different
Like,
situation.
just,
Yeah, of
yes,
course.
definitely. But yeah, I think it's like a funny phenomena about US domestic flights. There are some bags that come on there and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
That what?
You're like, that did
Like,
not fit in the demo bin outside. I know it did not. Like, come
yeah.
on.
You're
Like,
like,
be for real right
you're
now.
yes, like pushing the two carry-on items to the limit. Like, yeah, that
Yeah, I think
that's
that maybe the gate should be a little more proactive. Sometimes they have to be, right? Because it's a smaller plane. And so they make people gate check. When I was in Peru, we were flying to, I think we were flying to Cusco. And they proactively, before people even lined up, came through, asked everybody their row number, and everybody past a certain row, they gate checked their bags.
oh
Yeah, they just took
wow.
them. They're like, no option. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, we're full, no
Yep.
more room at the inn.
Exactly.
Wow.
I was like, that's
Oh
smart,
my
actually, right?
goodness.
Just do it in advance
Yeah.
before people are like fighting on the jetway or whatever.
Saves a lot of time, gets everybody off on time, which is really good.
Yeah.
So, wow. Well, any more trips planned? Is that you all tripped out for summer or anything else?
I do have a really short one planned. So I'm going to go to San Diego just for a few days. I have family there and my sister's going to go down at the
Nice.
same time. So but that's like a 4-day trip. No biggie.
Mm-hmm. That will be
Yeah. How
lovely.
about you?
That's I'm going to Chicago to see my baby child,
Oh,
so
yay.
that will be good. She's moving, but she's very inconveniently moving on the weekend of Lollapalooza,
Oh,
and I don't know if
no.
you've ever tried to go to Chicago on that weekend, but
Oh, shit.
it's quite impossible. So we talked about it, and she'll be at Lollapalooza too. So I'm they're going to move. They're actually just moving within the same building, so that makes it
Oh,
a lot
okay. Okay.
easier.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. So they'll get into their new apartment and then I'm coming like I actually still haven't booked it, but like a week or two after that to kind of like, okay, what do you need in your new apartment? Get her settled in that. And then she's actually gonna fly back to Utah with me.
Oh.
We're gonna do it together because she broke her foot
Oh,
and I
no. Poor
want
baby.
to, yes, just see. I mean, she's doing really well and she had an appointment this week and they said that if she felt okay, she could take like the boot off and she didn't need surgery. So that's good. But
Good.
I just thought I'll fly with you back here just in case, and then she'll fly back herself. So it was weird not to have her home this summer because she's always been in dorms. And so she always came home for summer.
Right.
And it's been like weird because she has an apartment now. She's all grown up and
Oh.
yeah, so that was kind of weird. And actually last week it was super cute because one of her best friends from high school texted me and she was like, "We miss coming over for dinner. Could we just come for dinner?"
Oh,
I was
sweeties.
like, "Yes." And so three of them came over this past week just for dinner and it was so sweet. It was and we FaceTime my daughter and it just made my heart full. It was really nice because
Wow.
the empty nester thing is rough.
Oh,
So
girl.
yeah.
I don't, yeah. Yeah. It's
Yes.
rough. I'm missing my boy so, so, so much.
Oh,
Yeah. But I get him back at the end of the week and I haven't seen him for 5 weeks.
oh, that's a long time.
Yeah, and
Is that your longest
yeah,
time?
definitely. And even like 5 weeks ago, I just had him like for a day, and then he was with his dad for
Hmm.
a whole week before that on a trip. So I'm missing him terribly. I guess that
Oh.
is another technical trip I have at the end of the week, but I don't really, I mean, it's not a vacation. I'm just going to fly to Detroit. I'll be there less than 24
Mm-hmm.
hours and bring my baby home.
Oh, that's lovely
Yeah.
that you're flying out to pick them up. That's so cute. I
Yeah.
love that. And I love that we talk about our children like they're 7 years old.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes in my head he is.
You know, it never stops being that way. It really doesn't. And, I don't think that's a bad
I don't
thing.
think so either.
Oh,
Yeah.
cute babies.
I know. I love that he
Well,
still lets me call him baby too.
yes, yes. I get away with that with my youngest. I think my oldest, my middle, he sometimes is like, okay, mom, that's enough. I'm a grown ass adult. And I'm like, but you're my wee son. Like, yeah. But
Cuties.
it's there are wee babies. So any more fun summer plans? Like, do you like to go to Lagoon?
You know what? I actually kind of hate to go to Lagoon. I swear I end up there at least once a summer for, an extended family thing or whatever. I actually like roller coasters and I like several of their roller coasters, but man, Lagoon, can I say this is like white trash Disney? It's not even white trash Disney. It's like white trash Knott's Berry Farm, and it's hot and it's crowded and the lines are long, and it ain't my vibe.
Yeah, it's it's an interesting place. For those of you outside Utah, it's like a fairground, an amusement park, but like kind of an interesting place. Was it like, who was it? Led Zeppelin or somebody, like, or Jimi Hendrix played there back in the day or
I
something, because they
think
have
that's
those.
right. Yeah, there's something weird
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
but it's like it's rooted in Mormon suburbia,
Yes.
like deep Mormon suburbia, and it's I, you know maybe this is an inappropriate thing to say, but there's a lack of social skills, shall we say, I have observed come along with
Big
that
time.
area.
Yes.
Yeah. Which can make it interesting, is for sure.
I mean, to be on, one hand, there is great people watching to be had.
Oh yeah.
On the other hand, yes, there is rather a lack of manners. And I also, I don't know, I'm not sure I feel totally safe. It is like going to the fairground in that the rides seem to be janky. They break down all the time. And instead of like the carnies, you have like 16-year-olds who are running everything. You're like, is this okay? I don't know.
It's a little alarming on those things, like, the swings,
Yes.
like that hang, like, and you're kind of like, is this held on with a coat hanger? Like, is this safe? And
Yeah.
yeah, those ones are a little wacky. And that big, like, old, I call it the Scooby-Doo roller
Oh, the
coaster,
wooden
the
one?
wooden one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's cool and all, but it's also a little frightening. It's like whiplash.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
janky as hell.
Mm-hmm. And some of those newer ones, though, like, I swear that I passed out for a brief minute on one of them.
Oh, I completely grayed out on Cannibal once. And
Yes, that one.
yeah, like towards the end
Yes.
when the turn gets tight and like I didn't pass out, I just lost my vision. Like I couldn't
Oh
see,
my
literally
God.
could not see. And I don't know how long. It was probably just a matter of a few seconds, but like long enough when your sight disappears, you're like, "Oh shit." Like
Like, is
am
something
I okay?
wrong?
Did I just have a stroke? Like
Oh my
yeah,
God.
believe me, like I left, I went home, I did a whole bunch of internet research and like came to the conclusion, no, it's probably fine. It's just a thing that happens.
Holy
Yeah, but
shit.
that's when I decided maybe just cannibal once, not multiple times in a row. Just one time. That seems to be
Yeah.
okay. I can take it.
Because that one is wild. That exact same thing happened to me, where just like, it's like the curtains close, the vision
Yes.
goes, and at that exact point, exact point on the ride as
Yeah.
well. And I was like, oh my God, did my spirit leave my body there for a minute like
Totally.
that? Because that one is wild.
It's
Like,
wild. And the other
yeah.
wild thing about it, I mean, it's a new roller coaster, so presumably like built to safety standards, but it
Mhm.
doesn't have a shoulder bar. It only has the lap bar. And like they go
Yes.
more than vertically, like they go upside down, but like that first drop where you go under and you're like basically hanging upside
Oof.
down, that is terrifying.
And you're inverted,
Yeah.
and they hold you there for a minute, and you are very high in the air. And prior to that, they take you up what resembles a dark lift shaft.
Yes.
And then the doors open, they dangle you over with no shoulder thing.
Just a lap bar.
And yeah, and it is truly mental. And the last time we went to Lagoon, it was actually last summer, and my youngest was home, and she was like, can we go to Lagoon? And I was like, sure, you know, before you go back. And it was me, her, and her brother. And dear Jesus, she threw up before we even left the bar.
Oh no.
I saw the face of Jesus on Cannonball. And yeah, and my son was queasy too. And we were like,
yeah,
okay,
well,
that's fun.
That's the Lagoon experience.
It really is good time.
Man, I don't get nauseous on roller coasters, but the spinny ones, I can't do those spinny ones. Those make me sick.
I think that's what tipped the balance, and then that, like, the pirate ship swingy one as well.
That's a little nausea inducing too. Yeah,
that was wild. Any other Utah summer treats you're excited for? You missed Pioneer Day.
I did, and I'm actually sad about it. I love Pioneer Day, or as us heathens call it, Pie and Beer Day. I love the chance to celebrate pie and beer, and the fact that I am a pioneer in leaving the Mormon church. So I enjoy that for many reasons. But for those of you outside Utah, Pioneer Day is our state holiday on July 24th every year to celebrate the arrival of the Mormon pioneers into the Salt Lake Valley in 1847, I believe. Once again, leaving America and coming into Mexican territory to escape what they would probably refer to as religious oppression, but really was making themselves like not welcome in their communities by doing things like marrying underage girls and marrying wives of men that were already married, and stuff like that. Anyway, 2 years later, was it 2 years later, 1849 or 1850, they were forcibly reabsorbed into America. And when that whole territory was taken from Mexico and awarded to America after the Mexican-American War. So welcome back to the States. And it's funny because Pioneer Day, like, everybody's flying their American flags, which I find so ironic. It's like this literally is about leaving America.
Like, you had to flee. Yeah. And it wasn't religious persecution, brother. And, also that cute little hidden history of settler colonialism that Mormons have, and decimating the indigenous people here and packaging it into a lovely holiday.
Yeah, we should actually do a whole episode on that at some point. Like, that'll be a dark one, but definitely. Like, we should talk about that.
Yeah.
100%
acknowledge that we are on stolen land, and the great statues that the Mormons have built to make it look really pretty and friendly. And we'll talk about what really happened for sure. Yeah. Wow, we covered everything today.
Well, I mean, we always do, with a real special emphasis today on diarrhea and bodily fluids in general. You're welcome, everyone.
We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have, because I have, quite frankly, really enjoyed this.
I know everyone missed us.
Of course they did. Where else would you get such a bounty in one episode? We have run the gauntlet of topics. And, I feel like we've been talking for about 10 minutes, and we could definitely go long. But for the sake of all of you listeners, we'll bid you a solid goodbye. Right. But we're back. We're excited. And Salty Hoes are back in action.
Yeah, so stay tuned. We are going to deliver our amazing regular weekly content to you. I think we will resume doing some bonus episodes, okay? Little salty bites, reality recaps, that kind of thing. So look for those as well. And hopefully, bit of a stretch goal, we may even do some events this fall. So stay tuned for all the Salty Hoe goodness to come.
Yep, the Salty Hoes are growing. We know this for sure. And it's going to be wild and wonderful. And I definitely have some things to get out of my system in terms of Tinder. So we for sure need to have like a Tinder Salty Bites edition very soon, because what the fuck?
Okay. Yes, I'm 100% into that. So let's record that soon, and we'll get that out to you, the listeners. If you enjoyed this episode or if you enjoy our show in general, you know what to do, but I'm going to remind you because it's been a while. Please go ahead and follow us on Apple Podcasts and or Spotify. You can do both. Leave us a 5-star rating, please, if you think we deserve it. A little review is always super helpful to try and push our show up so people can discover it. Leave us a comment. We love to hear from you. Anything else that everyone should do, Claire?
Oh, follow us on the Instawebs.
Yes,
for sure.
Follow us on Instagram, please. More content coming at you soon. Claire is our social media wizard, but I, will be participating too in whatever she tells me to do.
Yeah, Claire has all these wonderful ideas, and then we'll randomly text Mel and be like, can you do this really random thing? And then it lives on my phone for quite some time, but there's some treats coming up, let me tell you. So
my favorite are the ones where you don't tell me what we're doing. You're just like, come to the bar, bring a hat. I'm like, okay.
You are the coolest person ever, because you are just like, yes, let's do it. And yeah, I have definitely requested some odd things, like hold this in your mouth, run up the street, spit it out behind a tree, and you're just like, okay, do you want me to do it again? And this is the great kind of friend that you are.
I'm all in. I love it.
Love it. Love it.
All right, friends.
Well, welcome home.
Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. We will come at you next time. Please enjoy the rest of your week and follow us for more great content. Bye now.
Stay salty. Bye.